It is 2 a.m. or maybe it is 2 p.m. It does not matter. You are staring at a screen or a book or a gym bag. You know exactly what you should be doing. The logic is clear. The necessity is absolute. But you feel absolutely nothing. No spark, no drive, zero motivation. You wait. You search for that surge of inspiration you have felt before. It does not come. You negotiate. 5 more minutes. Tomorrow will be different. I am just too tired right now. Welcome to the most dangerous place on earth, the comfort zone. It is the cemetery where potential is buried alive. Society has fed you a sedative for your entire life. It is a beautifully wrapped lie that sounds like this. Wait until you feel ready. Find your passion, and you will never have to work a day in your life. You just need to get motivated. That is propaganda for the weak-minded. It is a fairy tale told to keep you passive, reliant, and waiting. While you wait for motivation, life is passing you by at high speed. While you search for a feeling, opportunities are solidifying into someone else's achievement. If you wait to feel motivated before you act, you have surrendered your life to the whims of your biological state. You are letting your caveman brain run your 21st century dreams. Today we are burning the word motivation. It is an unreliable ally. We are replacing it with something unbreakable. We are replacing it with the iron will. This is not a quick fix. This is not a pep talk. This is a complete re-engineering of how you operate. We are going deeper than motivation. We are going to deconstruct the biological reason you feel lazy and then build a structural, mechanical system of discipline that does not care how you feel. You are ready to stop being a passive observer and start becoming the architect of your existence. Let us begin. To build a system of discipline when you have zero motivation, we must first understand the enemy. And the enemy is not your laziness. The enemy is millions of years of evolution. Your brain has one primary mandate: survival. Motivation is an emotional state. Your brain releases dopamine and other reward chemicals in anticipation of a reward. When you see a challenge, like starting a new, hard habit, your brain does not see potential or success. It sees friction, it sees discomfort, and it remembers. From an evolutionary standpoint, your brain wants you to seek maximum calories with minimum energy expenditure. If you want to lay on the couch and watch a show, your brain floods you with dopamine. It thinks we are conserving energy. But if you want to get up and write code or go to the gym, your brain screams no. It sees a threat to your energy stores. This is not a flaw. This is the default mode network of your brain working exactly as intended to keep you safe and comfortable. The feeling you call laziness or zero motivation is simply your amygdala and your basal ganglia conspiring to keep you exactly where you are. Discipline is not a fight between you and your work. Discipline is a war between the rational part of your brain, which wants success, and the ancient primitive part of your brain that wants comfort. Your feeling of zero motivation is not a command. It is merely feedback from your primitive brain. You are interpreting that feedback as, I cannot do this. The correct interpretation is, my brain is trying to save energy. I must consciously overrule this chemical message. Once you understand this, you stop taking your laziness personally. You start seeing it as a predictable, manageable biological event. The world is full of books, seminars, and gurus whose entire business model relies on you believing you need motivation to start. This is the ultimate cart before the horse problem. Let us dismantle the false cycle that dominates your current reality. First, you wait for inspiration. You sit around, waiting to feel right. Second, you execute rarely. When the feeling magically aligns, you work, but only momentarily. Third, the feeling fades and you stop. Fourth, you experience guilt and shame, solidifying the belief that you lack discipline. This is a hamster wheel. It relies on internal chemical states over which you have very little direct, consistent control. If you only execute when you feel motivated, you have built your house on sand. You will be a brilliant procrastinator. Here is the new paradigm used by every champion, every elite special forces operator, every legendary leader. The cycle is reversed. 1. Decide. You make a rational, logical commitment to a task, regardless of feeling. 2. Commit. You apply the structural systems of discipline to force the start. 3. Execute. You begin the task. 4. Receive feedback. Motivation is the result, not the trigger. When you take that first painful step, when you put on the running shoes, even when your brain is screaming no, you begin to move. As you move, you create micro wins. You write one paragraph, you lift one set. That small win triggers a genuine dopamine release. Your brain says, wait, this action is creating a positive result. We have purpose. Let us do more. The motivation comes from the movement. You do not need to feel happy to do your taxes. You do not need to feel inspired to write. You do not need to feel powerful to get to the gym. You only need to decide that you are the type of person who executes when they decide to, regardless of how they feel. Willpower is a limited resource. Every decision you make, from what to wear to resisting a donut, drains your battery. If you rely on raw willpower to stay disciplined all day, you will fail by the evening. The most disciplined people do not have superhuman willpower. They just design an environment where discipline is the easiest option. They engineer their surroundings to remove friction for good habits and maximize friction for bad ones. To do work in a messy, distraction-filled environment, your brain has to fight the mess, ignore the phone, and resist distractions. That is a massive waste of energy. To architect your environment, follow these steps. Step 1. Out of sight, out of mind. If you want to stop a bad habit, make it invisible. Do not leave junk food on the counter. Do not leave your phone on the desk. Put it in another room. If it takes 20 seconds of physical effort to get to your distraction, your brain will often give up on it. Step 2. Prime the environment. Make good habits the path of least resistance. If you want to work out in the morning, lay your workout clothes by the bed the night before. If you want to read, put the book on your pillow. Step 3. Digital sanitation. Delete social media apps during work hours. Turn off all non-human notifications and use website blockers. Do not rely on self-control. Rely on environmental design. If you control your environment, you control your behavior. When you have zero motivation, the mountain of work ahead of you looks insurmountable. Your brain predicts the massive amount of energy required and immediately shuts down. To bypass this survival mechanism, you must trick your brain. You do this by lowering the barrier to entry so low that your brain cannot possibly justify making an excuse. This is the 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. The goal is not to complete the task. The goal is simply to show up and master the art of showing up. Do not aim to read a book. Read 1 page. Do not aim to do 100 push-ups. Do 5. Do not aim to meditate for 20 minutes. Meditate for 60 seconds. 90% of the battle is simply starting. Once you cross the starting line, the friction disappears. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates the motivation to continue. You cannot improve a habit that does not exist. First, establish the habit of showing up for 2 minutes every day. Once the habit is locked in, you can optimize and expand it. Stop looking at the peak of the mountain. Just look at the next 2 minutes.